quite clearly pre-planned, pre-written little bit. Michael Gove spoke with some journalists outside Number 10, where he was questioned about the EU and their ability or desire to negotiate with us on a deal that could get consensus within Parliament, since this is where the one real issue remaining lies, as opposed to the truly god-awful deal brought forward by Theresa May because she micromanaged a horrific negotiation and bent over for it, it is wise that negotiating take place to try and find a way to attempt to negotiate a deal that could command a majority in the House of Parliament. And to make the point, I'm going to play a short clip from The Guardian's video with Michael Gove's little statement. I'm not going to play all of it though. The Guardian are quite precious.
The EU now seem to be refusing to negotiate with the UK. The Prime Minister's been clear. He wants to negotiate a good deal with the European Union, and he will apply all the energy of the government and ensure that in a spirit of friendliness we can negotiate a new deal.
As you can clearly tell, that was quite well scripted for such a short little statement. I do tend to agree with Michael Gove, the snack, in that negotiating now needs to happen with the EU, because clearly the current deal, while the one they are okay with, does not, will not, shall not, cannot command any majority in the House of Parliament. They know this because it has been rejected 3 times. They've also seen and heard of all the amendments, the second referendum, the revoking Article 50, the trying to ban no deal, all of which have been voted down or not selected by the Speaker, because there are only so many times you can polish a turd. The EU has said it will not renegotiate on the withdrawal agreement or the backstop. The backstop is one of the biggest problems. When Boris Johnson met with Leo Varadkar, he outright said, "We're not going to impose a hard border. The only people that will do it will be on your side." And on the subject of the Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar, he has restated this. He has restated that they're not going to negotiate on it because it's the best deal for them. Which they're right, it is the best deal for them. One must respect this. The EU negotiated very well against an opponent that did not want to negotiate at all, obviously. While people like to point at Dominic Raab, one must remember he and Stephen Barclay have done effectively nothing as Brexit Secretary. David Davis, though, did a lot, him being a leaver, yet somehow managing to come up with a deal that was effectively Remain. Well done, David. You did fantastic work. The EU has said it is, however, willing to open talks to discuss clarification on the UK's position. So once they're best able to understand what the current Prime Minister wants to do, they'll then know what to do next. Well, this is what's going to happen. See, Boris has made it quite clear he's not going to go to Brussels yet. That's not because of the summer recess. It's because he's busy trying to sort out some domestic issues and prepare for no deal. He's not stalling. He's not wasting time, as many would appear to believe he is. He has met with a number of leaders from a number of different nations, Ireland being one, Estonia being another, where he met with their Prime Minister at Number 10 to discuss many things, including trying to avoid no deal and border force patrols that may have to be introduced in the event of a no deal. On Monday there was an EU meeting between the EU and the Prime Minister's European envoy David Frost. David Frost simply reiterated Boris Johnson's stance that the backstop must be removed from Theresa May's deal, raising concerns about the divorce bill of $39 billion and the supposed role of the European Court of Justice, because they'll be involved with us. And in before someone says, not part of the EU, that part is. Okay, just so everyone remembers, as more of a reminder, the whole point of the backstop is a insurance policy that would then prevent a hard border, which, if implemented, would see Northern Ireland aligned to the majority of the rules of the EU single market. It would also include a temporary, quotes, temporary, single customs territory, which keeps the UK in the EU customs union, which means we couldn't trade abroad, which was a huge talking point. At this present time, many analysts have noted that the EU, that is, don't know how to deal with Boris Johnson, because he is making it quite clear what he wants. He's been very open about it, and they don't want to give it to us. Which would handily lead on to the one last comment Michael Gove made in that video, which I think I'm going to end the video on.
While we remain ready and willing to negotiate, the EU must appreciate that we're leaving on October the 31st, deal or no deal.